Two movies that made audiences cry. Always 2011 and Be With You 2018. Some actors make us admire them. Some make us laugh. And some have the rare ability to make us feel something long after the screen goes dark. So Ji-sub belongs to that last group. Throughout his career, he has played action heroes, damaged men, romantic leads, and characters carrying wounds they rarely speak about. But among all those performances, two films reveal a particularly emotional side of his acting. Two love stories. Two very different men. Two unforgettable performances. Always, released in 2011. And Be With You, released in 2018. One is a story about sacrifice. The other is a story about memory, family, and a love that refuses to disappear. And together, they reveal something powerful about Seo Ji-sub as an actor. Sometimes, the most heartbreaking performances are not the ones with the loudest tears. They are the ones where an actor says almost nothing, and still makes us feel everything. Always, 2011. In Always, Seo Ji-sub plays Cheol-min. At first, he is a man who seems to have shut the world out. A former boxer, carrying the weight of a painful past, Cheol-min lives with emotional scars that have made him distant and guarded. He does not easily trust people. He does not openly talk about his pain. And he certainly does not seem like someone who still believes in love. Then he meets Jung-hwa, played by Han Hyo-joo. Jung-hwa is visually impaired, but she possesses a warmth and optimism that Cheol-min has almost completely lost. Their relationship does not begin with a grand cinematic declaration. It begins quietly, through small encounters, through awkward moments, through the gradual discovery that two people carrying very different kinds of pain can still find comfort in one another. And this is where Seo Ji-sub's performance becomes so powerful. Cheol-min is not a character who explains his emotions. He carries them. In his silence, in the way he looks at Jung-hwa, in the moments when he wants to say something, but chooses not to. The audience gradually realizes that beneath his rough exterior is a man who has spent years believing that he does not deserve happiness. And then love changes him. But Always is not simply a story about a damaged man finding romance. It is a story about what happens when love forces someone to confront the past they have been running from. Cheol-min discovers that his connection to Jung-hwa is tied to a devastating secret. He carries guilt over the accident that took away her eyesight and her parents 5 years earlier. That knowledge changes everything. Because suddenly, his love is no longer simple. It is mixed with guilt, with regret, with the belief that perhaps the person he loves would be better off without him. And when Jung-hwa's eyesight may be restored through a transplant operation, Cheol-min makes a decision that reveals the deepest part of his character. He chooses to sacrifice himself for the woman he loves. He enters a dangerous overseas gambling fight because he believes it may give him the money needed to help her. He leaves without a proper goodbye. Not because he has stopped loving her, but because, in his mind, loving her means giving her a chance at a better life, even if he cannot be part of it. This is what makes Always so emotionally devastating. Cheol-min does not love through grand speeches. He loves through action. He loves by protecting, by enduring, by disappearing when he believes his presence may cause pain. And Seo Ji-sub understands this character perfectly. His performance is restrained. He rarely needs to raise his voice. He does not constantly reach for dramatic tears. Instead, the emotion remains beneath the surface. The audience sees a man trying to appear strong while carrying an unbearable amount of pain. And sometimes, that restraint makes the emotion even more powerful. Because we are not simply watching a man cry. We are watching a man trying desperately not to. That is the emotional strength of Seo Ji-sub in Always. He allows the silence to speak. And when the silence finally breaks, the emotion has already been building inside the audience. For many viewers, Always remains one of the most memorable romantic performances of his career. Not because the story is free from tragedy, but because it asks a question that stays with us. If you truly love someone, how much would you be willing to sacrifice for their happiness? "7 years later." So Ji-sub returned to another deeply emotional love story. But this time, the emotion was different. If Always was about a man who believes love requires sacrifice, Be With You asks another question. What happens when love survives even after memory is gone? Be With You 2018. In Be With You, So Ji-sub plays Woo-jin. Woo-jin is not a mysterious fighter or a man hiding behind a dangerous past. He is a husband, a father, and a man who has lost the person he loves most. After the death of his wife, Soo-a, Woo-jin is left to raise their young son, Ji-ho, alone. Before her death, Soo-a promises that she will return on a rainy day 1 year later. It sounds impossible, like something from a fairy tale, but 1 year later, during the rainy season, Soo-a appears again. The miracle happens, but there is a heartbreaking condition. She has no memory of her husband, no memory of their marriage, and no memory of the life they once shared. So Woo-jin is faced with something almost impossible. The woman he has never stopped loving is standing in front of him, but she no longer remembers him. And this is where So Ji-sub gives one of his most quietly emotional performances. Woo-jin is not a man who wants to force the past back into existence. He does not demand that Soo-a remember him. He simply begins again. He allows her to discover him, to discover their son, to discover the life they once shared. And in doing so, he must fall in love with her all over again. The emotional power of Be With You comes from its simplicity. A meal shared together, a conversation, a walk, a rainy day, a father trying to remain strong for his child, a husband looking at the woman he loves and realizing that, for her, he may be a stranger. So Ji-sub's performance is built on those small moments. The sadness is rarely dramatic. It appears in the pauses, in the way Woo-jin looks at Soo-a, in the way he holds back words that might be too painful, in the quiet strength of a man who has already lost his wife once and knows that he may have to lose her again. That is what makes Woo-jin different from Cheol-min. Cheol-min is a man trying to escape his past. Woo-jin is a man trying to preserve his. Cheol-min believes love may require him to let go. Woo-jin is given the impossible gift of having the person he loves return to him, only to discover that the past no longer belongs to her. And yet, he chooses to love her again. That is the heart of Be With You. It is not simply a story about a miracle. It is a story about the preciousness of ordinary life, the moments we often take for granted. A family eating together, a parent watching a child grow, a husband and wife sharing a quiet moment. Because sometimes we only understand how precious these moments were after they have already become memories. And this is where the chemistry between So Ji-sub and Son Ye-jin becomes so important. Their relationship does not depend only on dramatic romance. It is built on warmth, on familiarity, on the feeling of two people who once shared an entire life together. The film is based on Takuji Ichikawa's novel Ima I ni Yukimasu, and the Korean adaptation transforms the story into a deeply emotional family romance. So Ji-sub brings a quiet maturity to Woo-jin. He is not trying to prove that he is the strongest man in the room. His strength comes from continuing to love, continuing to care, continuing to be a father, even when life has taken almost everything from him. And perhaps that is why so many viewers find Be With You so emotional. Because beneath the fantasy is a very human fear. The fear of losing the people we love. The fear of forgetting. And the fear that one day, the ordinary moments we never thought twice about will become the memories we would give anything to experience once again. Two roles. Two different kinds of love. When we place Always and Be With You side by side, the contrast becomes fascinating. In Always, So Ji-sub plays a man who believes he must sacrifice his own happiness for the woman he loves. In Be With You, he plays a man who receives a second chance with the woman he has lost. One character runs toward danger because of love. The other holds on to the quietest moments because he knows they may not last forever. Cheol-min is wounded by the past. Woo-jin is haunted by the possibility of losing the future. Cheol-min's love is expressed through sacrifice. Woo-jin's love is expressed through patience. And yet, both characters share something essential. Neither man is defined by what he says. They are defined by what they do. That is perhaps one of the reasons Soo Ji-sub is so effective in emotional roles. He understands that love does not always need to be loud. Sometimes love is waiting. Sometimes it is protecting. Sometimes it is letting go. And sometimes it is simply staying beside someone for as long as you possibly can. The emotional power of Soo Ji-sub. What makes these two performances especially memorable is not simply the stories themselves. It is the way Soo Ji-sub approaches emotional pain. He does not always perform sadness in the most obvious way. He often lets the emotion remain beneath the surface. A lowered gaze, a pause before answering, a smile that disappears too quickly. A man who looks fine, until you notice that his eyes are saying something completely different. That style of acting has become one of his greatest strengths. He understands that people in real life rarely explain every emotion they feel. Many people hide their pain. They continue working. They continue caring for their families. They continue smiling. And that is why his characters can feel so human. Because their sadness does not always arrive with a dramatic announcement. Sometimes, it simply sits quietly beside them. Always and Be With You are separated by 7 years. But together, they create a fascinating portrait of Soo Ji-sub as an actor. In Always, he showed us a man who loved so deeply that he was willing to sacrifice his own happiness. In Be With You, he showed us a man who understood that even the most ordinary moments with the people we love can become the most precious memories of our lives. One film asks, "How much can we sacrifice for love?" The other asks, "What would we do if we were given one more chance to be with the person we lost?" And perhaps that is why these two films continue to touch audiences. Because they are not only about romance, they are about the things we fear losing, the people we cannot forget, the sacrifices we make for those we love, and the moments we wish we could hold on to forever. So, Ji-sub has played many unforgettable characters throughout his career. But Cheol-min in Always and Woo-jin in Be With You remain especially powerful because they reveal the same truth in two completely different ways. Love is not always about holding on. Sometimes it is about sacrifice. And sometimes it is simply about being there, for as long as life allows. Which of these two performances touched your heart more? Always or Be With You? Tell us in the comments.